Hello, I'm Mr. Hartgrave, and this is the ultimate Marvel Strike Force resource guide. This guide is going to walk you through every meta character, all the characters that we are using in the endgame, not just myself, but every endgame Marvel Strike Force player are using these characters. I'm going to tell you where to unlock them. I'm going to tell you how good they are. I'm going to tell you which ones are worth putting diamonds on, which ones are worth putting heavy investment on. We're going to cover Isotope 8. We're going to cover everything about Marvel Strike Force. And now this is all tied to this big graphic that I put together. I haven't put together one of these in a few months, so I'm really happy to be doing this again. This is for December 2023. I kind of feel like you're not going to have to wait that long until the next Safe to Build guide, because I already know a couple of teams that are going to need to go on this coming up in the future. I'm thinking about Hive Mind, right? That's coming up, and we're not going to talk about that too much. We're going to talk about Carnage and Venom. Now, one thing to get out of the way is one thing we're not going to be covering in this video is Apocalypse and the teams needed to get Apocalypse. I had to remove that from this video or it would just simply be too large. I might bring it back in for like a mega size Safe to Build video at some point, but right now my plan is when they finally announce what they're going to be doing with those Scourges, because right now, as I record this video, I don't know how those are going to roll out, how they're going to change. I'm going to do a separate video like an Apocalypse guide. So look for that if you want help unlocking Morgan Le Fay, Rogue, Red Hulk, Archangel, and Apocalypse. That'll be coming in a separate video. So we're really just focusing on what is meta right now, assuming that you were already able to get Red Hulk and Rogue. But if you weren't able to get a hold of them, don't worry. They're not too horribly meta anymore, although Apocalypse is, and we'll definitely be talking about him. And if you don't have them, keep an eye out for that video. We've got lots of other helpful videos in this playlist. Keep in mind, it does not matter what you do up until you get to Teal Gear, and even Teal Gear isn't that big of a deal anymore now that we're approaching a level cap. We're going to be talking about level 100 in this video. When I record this video, level 100 isn't out. Why are you talking about level 100? Because I like these videos to last. As far as I know, level 100 is going to hit tomorrow, and then we're all going to be talking about it. So you're going to be prepared ahead of time because I'm prepared ahead of time. This is what I do. This is my personal plan, and I'm sharing it with you because I love you. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. There's going to be a lot of good videos on this channel, all related to this Safe to Build guide. So everything that isn't on here, you can build to tier 15, level 85 or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're putting 7 red stars on everything. So I really hope people aren't asking me what I should put 7 red stars on, because literally every character. Focus on these characters first. For diamonds, work towards the top and move towards the bottom. Now we're going to get specific about every team on here, every character on here. We're going to get as granular as I possibly can in the time that we have. So let me start getting moving. Let's get right into this. Let's get into Secret Defenders. All right, let's start off with Secret Defenders. What are they good for? Their main purpose is the arena. However, they're phenomenal in Cosmic Crucible. They're great in war. They're amazing in single-player content like satellites and towers and trials and scourges. They are fantastic everywhere, pretty much any place you can use them, other than like raids. The only thing they don't do is raids. Where are you going to build them to? Level 100. Now, let's be specific. We're building Black Cat, Miss Marvel Hardlight, and Ghost Rider Robbie to level 100. Photon and Doctor Strange, I don't really see if you can build them to level 100. I mean, you can see I've taken Photon to gear tier 18. I wouldn't recommend necessarily doing that. Will you get value out of that if you do it? Sure. But the really most meta characters here are Black Cat, Miss Marvel Hardlight, and Ghost Rider Robbie. And that's where you want to focus your diamonds. I would kind of suggest that most people ignore Photon and Doctor Strange unless you got all your other homework done. And when I say you have your homework done, I mean the rest of the Safe to Build guide. If you have the rest of these characters all built out for Dark Dimension and for raids and Cosmic Crucible and trials, then you can start messing around with auxiliary characters like Photon and Doctor Strange, which is what I consider them. The core of this team is Black Cat, Miss Marvel Hardlight, and Ghost Rider. for Isotope 8. I like Stryker on Black Cat, Skirmisher on Miss Marvel Hardlight, Stryker on Ghost Rider Robbie, and Raider on Photon. Now you can flip those around, but a lot of times I'm using Ghost Rider without Photon, so I like the extra attacks with Ghost Rider, and I kind of ignore Photon. And if you're using Doctor Strange, you may as well throw Skirmisher on him. Now, as far as unlocking, you unlock Black Cat via her trial. If you need help on Scourges and Trials, I have a whole other playlist on this channel. Check that out. I keep it up to date whenever it needs updating. I redo those videos. So if you weren't there when it came out, don't worry. The information in there, I'm told, is still very relatable and very useful. If it's not, let me know and I will update it. Miss Marvel Hardlight is available in the Raid store, and that is awesome. Miss Marvel Hardlight might be the single best character for new players at this time. Get Miss Marvel Hardlight, max her out, get diamonds on her. She is an amazing, amazing character that will help you in this game for the entire year. This whole team, Secret Defenders, you saw this year in 2023, the team of the year was Darkhold. The team of 2024 is going to be Secret Defenders. They're never going to leave this list. They're always going to be here. We're always going to find a use for them. Are they going to become less meta? Slightly. But they are going to hold. They are amazing, especially this three-piece of Black Cat, Hardlight, and Ghost Rider Robbie. Ghost Rider Robbie, by the way, is available in the Cosmic Crucible store. Once you get to level 60, he is one of the primary characters that you want to grab out of there because he will transform your Cosmic Crucible scores, even if you're not using him in the arena, because unfortunately on arena offense, we have many better characters up here in the end game. But if you're at a lower level, you're probably still using Ghost Rider Robbie. The next team that we're going to be digging into is the Superior Six. You're going to notice again, once again, we have another Scourge trial character here, Green Goblin Classic. Typically, the legendary characters, the teams that are associated with them, are going to be our most meta teams. This team is the best in Cosmic Crucible, war, and solo player content. Once again, being an amazing city villain team that has unique traits like tech and skill. It's a phenomenal team. A lot of utility here, a lot of plug and play ability. If you don't have certain members of the Superior Six, you can fill in with Mysterio and Vulture and do some amazing things. However, the most meta version, the most safe to build version of this team is still the pure Superior Six, in my opinion, for its utility in Cosmic Crucible. Although, if you want to skip Spider Slayer, if you want to skip, Kraven or a Lizard, you can be inclined to do that. I would definitely stick with the core of Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin, though. Now, as far as what level to build these characters to, I'm saying Green Goblin all the way level 100. And let's go ahead and reference the guide itself. So if we look at the infographic, you see that Green Goblin is up there at level 100. Now, this is a team that has some divide because I have to explain like this tier 18 for Dark Dimension, okay? So I wouldn't necessarily say that you need Dr. Octopus and Kraven at level 100. However, I think they should be a part of everyone's Dark Dimension plan because of their traits. Because Dr. Octopus has a tech tag on him and he's a legendary character. He's very good to go get Super Skrull, as well as Kraven, who is city and skill. I ended up taking Ronin, who was a skill character when I did that. You'll notice that Ronin is on this list, but now much lower and not at a tier 18 recommendation. However, if you want to put tier 18 on any of these characters on the safe to build guide, I would suggest doing so because they are safe to build. That's right. But the tier 18 tier are characters that I would recommend above all others for any Dark Dimension plan. We'll talk more about Dormammu and Doom. They might be kind of one or the other for you depending on levels, but we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves talking about the Superior Six. You're also going to notice that I have Dr. Octopus and Kraven at tier 18, and then below that, I have Lizard and Spider Slayer lower, just at level 95. I don't think you need to put tier 18 on them. I've put tier 18 on them, but that's a personal decision. You can decide about, where you're at with Cosmic Crucible. If they're doing what they need to do, and this is global advice, if a team is doing what it needs to do, stop building it. The moment it does what it needs to do and it does it without fail and you never have issues with it, then stop doing it. If it wins its arena attacks, then you're done. If it wins its war attacks to 100%, you're done. If it wins its Cosmic Crucible attacks to 100%, every time you do it, it does what it needs to do, then you're done building it. You don't need to go any further. I'm at a very high level. I'm into endgame, so my teams need to typically be much bigger than the average player, so that's why you're going to see these crazy teams here. I don't follow my own. My limit is usually the max limit of a character. That's what I need for my characters to work. That's the unfortunate part about Marvel Strike Force. Now, for Isotope 8 classes on this team, I like Skirmisher on Dr. Octopus. I like Raider on Green Goblin, Skirmisher on Kraven, Striker on Spider Slayer, and Striker on Lizard. As far as unlocks, we got good news for you. Dr. Octopus has been expanded, and now you can use Wave 1 Avengers, Defenders, and X-Force to unlock him. Wow, what an amazing change. It's going to have a huge impact on my beginner's guide, which will also be in this playlist. If you're looking for beginner's advice, if you want to take this and you go, Mr. Hartgrave, this is great, but I don't have access to a lot of this stuff. What should I build right now? That'll be in that video in this playlist. To unlock Green Goblin, that is via a trial. I have that playlist on this channel as well. Kraven, Spider Slayer, and Lizard are not farmable at this time, but when they become farmable, keep an eye out, and if you're able to farm them, get them at high stars. I would recommend diamonds on... I don't think this is a team that needs diamonds, quite honestly. As long as they're doing what they need to do, they shouldn't need diamonds. You might consider putting diamonds on Green Goblin Classic someday, but there's definitely better characters that probably need that kind of boost before Green Goblin would get them. The first raid team we're going to be talking about is Pegasus. Now, Pegasus is really just kind of locked down to raids. However, you can definitely get value out of this team in Cosmic Crucible, whether it be on offense or defense. And this is a team that can also be very good in single-player content and war. So it's not that it's not good in other modes. It's just that there's usually a better team in other game modes that can do more than they can. So they're good, but they're not phenomenal. One character that is a standout character on this team would be Kestrel. Also, great news for new players. Kestrel is now going to unlock on Dark Dimension 1. So she's become much more available. You're going to get a free 7 stars on her as long as you have at least one very strong character that's at 6 stars. So that's really, really good news for new players. And Kestrel, I would recommend actually building to level 100 because she is a mythic legendary, and there's going to be a special section of the next Dark Dimension that is only going to be accessible by mythic legendary characters like Kestrel. And I think we can say that Kestrel is a lock for that. Level 100 is good for her. For the rest of the team, I would go with level 95. I'll probably have to end up putting level 100 on the whole team because I push very high-end raids. But if you don't do that, they are probably absolutely fine at a lower level. But you want to put all that power into Kestrel. And when we talk about power, that probably means diamonds. There's only one character on this team I would put diamonds on. And I think Kestrel is a very excellent 3-diamond character. But there's probably other characters that would deserve those diamonds first. But she's definitely on the schedule to get those 3 diamonds before other characters. For Isotope 8, I like Striker on Kestrel. I like Fortifier on Rescue, Skirmisher on Iron Man Infinity War, Raider on Darkhawk, and Skirmisher on Ironheart. The only one of these characters that is farmable outside of Kestrel, which is available on Dark Dimension 1 now, is Rescue. And you can find Rescue as a part of the Blitz supply store, the Blitz Orb, and she's no longer on a node. They actually pulled her from a node, but that's okay, since Blitz is a pretty reliable release source of her. I believe she's available at a lower cost as well due to the age of the character. Very similar to the status of Pegasus, we have Masters of Evil, and the way that it's similar is that Kang is the standout character. He's the character that I would advise taking to level 100, the rest of the team at level 95, or not really built at all, especially in the case of Absorbing Man. I think Absorbing Man, you can fully ignore. You don't ever need to build Absorbing Man. He is not necessary at all. You do need Masters of Evil for one of the new trials. However, you can replace Absorbing Man with Quicksilver and not miss him one single bit. So I would wholeheartedly encourage you skipping Absorbing Man altogether. This team is best in Cosmic Crucible, but even in Cosmic Crucible, it's really just Kang and Titania. Moonstone is optional. Ultron is very optional. And once again, Absorbing Man is almost useless and better replaced with a better character for most Cosmic Crucible attacks. There's a couple that rely upon him, but you can really just use a different team and never ever build him in your life. The Isotope 8 that I like on this team is Stryker on Kang, Stryker on Titania. Actually, I like Raider on Titania, but I use her in room 1 right now. That's going to change. So Raider on Titania, you see Stryker there, but that's just like for a temporary purpose. Raider is actually a much better class for her. Skirmisher on Moonstone, Fortifier on Absorbing Man if you have them, and Stryker on Ultron. For diamonds, Kang, one of the number 1 3-diamond characters, not the number 1 3-diamond character. For me, he's my number 2 3-diamond character. I'm actually working towards 3 diamonds on him right now. He is the one that I'm most in the market for after my first choice, who we will get to later on in the list. Now, for unlockability, Kang is farmable in the premium orb, which is pretty rough, pretty hard to get. He's also on a late incursion node that you need a bunch of 7 red characters to get to, so difficult for a lot of players to farm, but he is eventually farmable on a node. As far as Titania, she is available in the on the Nexus hard mode 4.9, node 4.9. So you can find Titania there and farm her if you so desire. You don't need her to be big. You just need her to be available. She just makes Kang better is her main purpose. You can find Moonstone, and she's available in the raid supplies and in the raid orb. Pick her up, but once again, kind of optional. More for the trial than anything else. Basically, for the Nova trial, you need the Masters of Evil, and that's pretty much the only place you need them. If you want to locate Absorbing Man, although he is not safe to build, he's on the Nexus Hard Mode 1.9. And then finally, we have Ultron, and he's available in Dark Dimension 2. So basically a free character. I like Ultron for that reason, and that's one of the main reasons I've always kind of stood by Ultron and said, hey, this is a good character, because he's a character that new players get at 7 stars, and you don't have to work for him, really. So, okay. There's everybody. Oh, they're giving you free red stars on him, too, as a part of that now. So, like, Ultron's even better for new players. Okay, on to the next team. I usually don't talk about new teams until the end of the video, but this team is so good and so instantly meta that I had to bump it up. We got to talk about it right away, and that's the X-Treme X-Men team. Now, not pictured here are Sunspot and Forge. But right now we have access to Gambit, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler. Those characters are going to be coming soon. And wow, this team's really, really good. You'll notice here, I've put it as best in Cosmic Crucible and Raids. I've put Cosmic Crucible ahead of Raids for a reason. I think we're going to see a portion of this team be more meta in Cosmic Crucible for a longer time than this team is viable in Raids. Now, of course, it's going to be very good in Raids right now. It just came out. But in about 6 months, a year, we're going to see this team fall off in Raids, as they do, and another mutant team take its place. However, in Cosmic Crucible, the combination of Gambit, Nightcrawler, Dazzler, and Sunspot and Rogue is going to be meta for a very, very long time. I just put a video out on this channel from the test server showing just how good this team is. It's a jackknife team. It takes Unlimited X-Men and brings them up to the current meta and beyond. Nightcrawler himself is an exceptional plug-and-play character, and I would highly recommend him for level 100, as well as Gambit. Now, Cyclops and Forge, I would keep them at level 95 at most. I would not take them to level 100. They are not going to be a part of the Cosmic Crucible part of this team like Sunspot is. Sunspot's another character I would say for level 100 as well. You'll notice I think I have Forge up there at level 100 on the Safe to Build graphic. The reason for that is, number one, I'm lazy, and number two, he might be very fun in Dark Dimension. You might want him as a part of your Dark Dimension squad when you start preparing for Dark Dimension 7. Forge might be a fun addition to that. You might see me take him into Dark Dimension. But it's basically up there from the way that I formatted this, and you could really move him down to where Cyclops is. But definitely, Gambit, Nightcrawler, and Sunspot, they are all level 100 characters. They are great, great characters, especially Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is going to be phenomenal in this game for a while. He's fast, he drops stun, he drops exposed. He is a really, really cool character. All right, for Isotope 8 classes, I like Raider on Gambit, Raider on Cyclops, Raider on Nightcrawler, and then for Sunspot is definitely a striker, and I think we have Forge as a striker as well. Once again, if you want to know more about this right away, just check out a couple of videos back. I have a great video on this team on the Cosmic Crucible nodes. Not so much on the raid nodes. I mean, I know they're going to work it out. They're going to be fine in raids eventually, but right now, early on, I'm not impressed there. But I am impressed with them in Cosmic Crucible, and we're not going to stop talking about them in this video. There's still more on that to come. As far as availability, Gambit's availability is in the Cosmic Crucible store, and that is phenomenal. Of course, Nightcrawler, Forge, and Sunspot are not available right now. They're not even in the game right now, so they're not farmable. Cyclops, however, has been farmable for a very long time. He is in the Raid Supply store, and he's also in the Beta Raid orb, so that's always nice. But once again, his usefulness is going to be limited. There might even be better mutant characters to actually pair with this team when things are all said and done. We're expecting some reworks on mutants. If you're watching this in the future and you're like, why aren't you talking about this mutant or that mutant? Because those reworks weren't out by the time I filmed this video. So unfortunately, that's not in here. And another team that is not in the game yet, at least not fully, is Hive Mind. So we're going to talk about Hive Mind now. I know really very, very little about this team. It's going to be best in raids, and I don't know if it's going to be useful outside of raids at all. So right now, my early inclination is to say that this team needs to go to level 95. Now, by the time that we know more about Hive Mind, I will have the next Safe to Build video and graphic out, I assume in January or early February. So we'll know more about them as they come. But right now, I wouldn't do more than level 95 on Carnage and Venom. I'm kind of just in a holding pattern there. We just had a big gold spending event, so that's why I took them up as high as I did when I did. But if you haven't built them at all, maybe hold off. Venom looks like he might be replaceable. Like, there's a lot of other good bio characters. I mean, Super Skrull for one. If you have access to Super Skrull, do you ever need to build Venom? Maybe not. It's really hard to say. I can't really say much about him. Right now, I like, Striker on Carnage and Striker on Venom, but I don't know where I'm going to fall on that. Venom is on a node. But he's on a very late node for new players, so I'm not even really telling new players to build symbiotes. That's not really a part of a new player plan. They're not good in that way because Venom is on Nexus 6-9. That takes way too long to get to for new players. And Carnage is available like in the War Store, which is just like horrible. He's also in the Gamma Raid, so you'll get him over time, which is good. He's definitely the better character out of the two, but I don't have high hopes for these characters right now, so I wouldn't go nuts building them. I wouldn't put tier 18 on them. These are not good like Dark Dimension characters or anything of that nature, at least right now. A team that is still very good right now is New Warriors. And I think New Warriors, I feel like it's going to hold its value, especially if you invest a large amount into it, and I do feel it is safe to do that. This is still a very good Cosmic Crucible team. However, at this time, you will notice that I have built Gwenpool. I would strongly suggest, if you are going to invest in new warriors, that you need to be investing in Gwenpool. There was a time where you could skip her, where she wasn't needed. But right now, if you want new warriors to keep working for the next few months, you are definitely going to need to put some investment into Gwenpool. This is a very good team. It really is only good in Cosmic Crucible. You really only need it if you're doing high-level Cosmic Crucible, but if you have it at a lower level, it is going to take out pretty much any room on the board. I know people all the time are telling me, new warriors can do this, and then they can do that. Not necessarily at my level they can, but at a lower level, yes, new warriors can pretty much do anything. So definitely a good team to pack, to have in your arsenal, and to have access to. As far as Isotopes 8, I like Skirmisher on Cloak, Raider on Firestar, Striker on Deathpool, Striker on Dagger, and Raider on Gwenpool. For availability, we have a very good available team for new players, actually. Another thing I really like about New Warriors is how accessible it is to new players. So it also provides that. Cloak is available on Villains Hard node 2.6. But he's also more available in raid supplies and the alpha raid orbs. And so that's a much easier way to get Cloak, is that way, than to get to access to his hard node. Firestar, not as available. She is in war supplies. But the thing is I don't really think as a new player you need access to Firestar. By the time you get to the end game, you definitely want to have Firestar. But as a newer player, you don't really need her. If you just have the core of Cloak, Dagger, Deathpool, and actually Gwenpool, you can do just as much. And you can find that if you're down one member of New Warriors, they actually work pretty well as well for you new players and mid-game players. Deathpool is available on an incursion node, so that's not very friendly, but she is still featured in the milestone orb, so that is probably the easiest way to get her. I assume all players will be unlocking Deathpool primarily through that milestone orb. Dagger is probably the most available out of all of them. She is in the arena store as well as the alpha raid orb, and she's on Villains Hard node 4.6. And then finally, Gwenpool is available through the Blitz store. So that makes her one of the most available members of the team, right up there with Dagger. And a phenomenal team to add. I'm very happy with it. I'm actually more happy with my investment in Gwenpool than I am with my investment in Quicksilver. I didn't think it would be that way, but here I am. I had higher hopes for BiFrost, but it's still holding in the meta, and I would still consider it safe to build. However, it's really only good in raids. It's not really doing much more than raids. It's really not doing much in war. It doesn't really have much value in Cosmic Crucible, but I would still build this team to 95 just because of how good it is in raids and how necessary it is for that. So really, it's more that this team is necessary more than it's safe to build. So I would stay at level 95. Wait for that new Mystic team to come in. That's the one you're going to take to level 100. I don't know how long away that is, though. This is probably going to be your Mystic team for the foreseeable future, so that's why it's on here. But this team, out of all the teams on here, I think is the most likely to drop off in the next 3 to 4 months. And for Isotope 8 here, I like Striker on Vol. I like Skirmisher on Sylvie, Striker on Beta Ray Bill, Skirmisher on Loki, on both the Lokis. And as far as availability, Vol is available on a late node in the incursion raid, and you need to have a bunch of 7 raid characters to get them, so that can be a little difficult. Sylvie is available in the War Store, which is just a horrible place to make a character available in, so good luck getting them out of there. As far as Beta Ray Bill, they are in the Cosmic Crucible store, which is actually a great place for a character to be, so pretty available. Teen Loki is available on Nexus Hard Node 6.9. So you know, mid-game players and late-game players do have access to Teen Loki, whereas Loki himself, if you're a new player, you get like 100 shards, so the unlock is for free when you link your account with the web store, and he is also available in raid supplies. So kind of a sketchy available team, kind of sketchy on how long they're going to be meta for. So if you're going to build them now. If not, if you're not doing high-level raids, don't even build this team because there's going to be a new Mystic team in like 3 to 6 months, and you can just skip this. If you're starting to do incursion raids, then you're going to want this team, but those are the only people that are going to want to mess with this team at this time. Speaking of teams that aren't that really safe to build anymore, it's Rebirth, and this team ain't even good in raids, guys. This team's been replaced by Hive Mind, so I wouldn't build it for raids. However, this team still has use because it is basically required for high levels in the Green Goblin trial, which is going to keep reoccurring all year. I don't think they're going to do something with that like they're going to do with the previous Horseman teams, at least not until next year, until 2025. So for 2024, you're stuck building Rebirth if you want to get everything out of those milestones, and you do. They're actually quite good. So you need to build this team up to level 95. Boy, that's really going to suck doing that now because it has limited resource right now, but there is value in the team for Green Goblin. And the other good thing is it's also still really available for new players. So I'm still suggesting that new players kind of go after this team and build it as long as they can get a hold of it. It did not become as available as I wanted it to be for new players. We'll get into that in a second. As for Isotope 8, I recommend Fortifier on Captain America, Healer on Captain Carter, but she might be more fun as a striker, Raider on Agent Venom, Skirmisher on U.S. Agent, and Striker on Winter Soldier. As for availability, Captain America is extremely available. He's on a very early node, and that is great. Captain Carter is a little tougher. She's in Cosmic Crucible supplies, so you can't get a hold of her until level 60, but that's okay. Still, I would have liked to have seen her available like to very early players, like, level 1, especially now. I don't know if they'll do anything about that, but they really should. Agent Venom is in the arena store, so that's great. He's actually pretty available when you think about it that way. U.S. Agent is pretty available to new players. He's in the raid store, so that is good. It's really just Captain Carter, which is kind of a bummer because she kind of runs the team. Winter Soldier is available on Heroes 6-3 as well as the Gamma Raid Orb, so he's very available. So really the only problem we have with this team is kind of Captain Carter is not available to new players until they reach level 60. However, you probably don't really need the full power of the team until you get to that level anyways. Very good team for new players. Unfortunately, kind of a necessary evil just for the practicality of getting the most rewards out of this game. Still need to build them to level 95 for that new Green Goblin Classic trial. Even worse than Rebirth is New Avengers. Oh my God. Yes, once again, the only reason to build this team is for the Green Goblin trial or to be a horrible jerk in war. You need to build them to level 95. I don't like this team. It bums me out that it doesn't do more. I put a heavy investment into it, and now it is a subpar war offense team because I refuse to be that guy on defense. But there it is. I don't know. Striker on Ronin, Striker on Tigra, Raider on Mockingbird, Skirmisher on Agent Coulson, and Raider on Thing. He does more cool stuff when he crits. Ronin, I don't even think, is he even available? He's not even available. I don't know why they're not making him available. I don't think, is Tigra farmable in any way, shape, or form? No. Why would she be? Why? Mockingbird's not farmable either. Agent Coulson and Thing you can farm. Agent Coulson's in Blitz supplies if you care about that, which you probably have to at some point for Green Goblin. Oh my God. And then the Thing is available in the Blitz store. I'm very unhappy with this team. Build them last. Build them after everything else is done. Build them for the Green Goblin trial and try to forget about it and move on with your life. And that brings us to the end of our teams, and now we get into our plug-and-play solo character portion of this video, where I'm going to be breaking down these characters and talking about really some of the best characters in the entire game, the most meta characters that we have right now. And we're going to talk about Apocalypse. Now, as far as unlocking Apocalypse, like I said, there's going to be a whole other video on that. But this is definitely a character that you are going to take to level 100, probably 200, probably until the end of time. Are you going to want diamonds on them? Yes. Can you get diamonds on him? Probably not. I got a diamond on him by spending an ungodly amount of gold during his event where they were giving the diamond away. I like Stryker on Apocalypse. I've never used anything other than Stryker on Apocalypse, but oh my God, what a meta character. Of course you want to get him. Of course you want to keep building him. Ikaris. You don't need Cersei. I don't have Cersei on this list. It doesn't even matter what size the Cersei is. And honestly, for solo player content, you don't have to put her in. I've been using Ikaris on his own without Cersei around. Of course, Cersei makes him better. So go ahead and build her as well. You might even want to keep her at the same power levels. But really, where you want all the power, and this is my #1 character for diamonds. I didn't pull any diamonds on this character. I had no diamonds. I bought the first diamond. I bought the second diamond. I bought the third diamond. This is all my credits. I put them into Ikaris because for Cosmic Crucible. If you have, and I have a video on this, it was last week. So if you just look back on the channel, just a few videos, you're going to see what a 3-diamond Ikaris, he can transform your Cosmic Crucible scores. Having access to a insanely powerful Ikaris, who's a striker, of course, will take your scores in Cosmic Crucible to the next level. The efficiency that you're able to pull off with him is insane. If you want Ikaris to keep working, and I've said this since the beginning of Ikaris, you're going to need to keep up with him. You're going to need to keep taking him up to the highest level. So yes, level 100, tier 19, if you want Ikaris to keep doing the amazing stuff that he can do, you're going to need to put all of the power possible into him. Red Hulk is pretty much the same deal. If you want to know how to unlock Red Hulk, oh, by the way, I skipped the whole unlocking Ikaris thing. He is available in the raid store, which is insane. So not only is he one of the most powerful guys in the game, and not only is he the only character that I would recommend like buying 3 diamonds on, he's available to everybody. So that's just impressive. Red Hulk is harder to get. I honestly don't know what the unlock mode is going to be on him once they work that all out. I'll probably have to remake this video and all my videos once that happens. I'll put it in the Apocalypse video, right? All right. Stryker, people like to put Raider. People like to put Skirmisher on Red Hulk. I've just always done Stryker. That's always done what he's needed to do. Would I put diamonds on Red Hulk when I have them available? Not before, like Apocalypse and Skrull before Red Hulk. But Red Hulk might honestly be like the 3rd Dark Diamond character that I would think about doing just because of his insane amount of power that he does. As far as uses for this character, I mean, pretty much all game modes. I mean, all these characters I'm talking about right now, like every single one of these characters is like useful in every single game mode. So that's why they're so damn good. That's why they're plug and play characters. All right, Rogue, once again, same story as Red Hulk for unlock. I like Skirmisher on her right now. For what I'm using her for right now is she's a part of my Cosmic Crucible team with Apocalypse. I'm using her with Apocalypse, and in the context of that team, she's a good Skirmisher. However, when I start using her with the rest of the X-Treme X-Men, that new team I was talking about earlier in the video, at that time I will probably switch her to be a striker because I'll have enough people dropping vulnerables out there. With Gambit and Nightcrawler dropping vulnerables, I think she might be, and Dazzler dropping vulnerables as well. I think she might be an excellent striker when I move into that phase of her development, which is what we're really talking about. So don't lose track of Rogue and don't lose track of Red Hulk as we move into the new meta. These characters, although they are older characters, are still holding their value very well. Better than Morgan Le Fay, better than Archangel. Quicksilver, I don't know, guys. I'm putting them on here. I built them. I built them to tier 18. I think pretty much all these characters, by the way, are level 100 characters. I forget what I have on the safe to build graphic. Most of them are up here on level 100. Some of them I would just recommend for tier 18 when we're talking about Dormammu, when we're talking about Doom. But pretty much everybody else, I guess Quicksilver is one that I have at level 95. And I might just keep Quicksilver here. I'm trying to put 7 red stars on him, and I don't even know why, guys. I still haven't found the value in Quicksilver. He's like a defensive character more than an offensive character. I'm getting very little use out of him. He's very good in single-player content, though. He's almost entirely invaluable. Like, if you don't have Quicksilver, you can't do certain single-player content, certain trials, certain towers and satellites and things of that nature. Upcoming game modes, I'm sure, are going to hinge around Quicksilver as well. So I'm building him. Everyone makes him a striker. That's the only class to really mess around with. If there's one character that is plug and play that you can skip, it's Quicksilver. I don't know. I have regrets building him up this high, but we'll see if it pays off. Stay tuned to this channel. Nova, still a very good character. I would still plug and play. There's still a lot of places to put Nova. You got to be a little more crafty to get use out of Nova, though. But I still find uses for him in Cosmic Crucible. Yes, he's mainly a war character, but he's also still very good and still very much worth considering taking into Dark Dimensions. I like Striker on Nova. I also like Skirmisher on him if he needs to land that stun. But most of the time I like him as a Striker. You can unlock him via the Nova trial. Those videos are on this channel if you need help with that. Then we have Super Skrull. Oh my God. There's no video for, I mean, I have videos about what to build for Dark Dimension, but maybe it's time to kind of bring it up because people always get confused about this guide being some kind of Dark Dimension guide, but we're not really talking about Dark Dimension. You got to build what you got to build for Dark Dimension. Try to use all the characters on this list to go after Super Skrull. Go start from the top of the list and work your way down. If you can take all those level 100 characters to tier 18 and go get Super Skrull, that's great. But you're probably going to need to add some extra characters in. Yeah, of course you are. So I have videos on my channel just about Dark Dimension. Maybe I'll do a video on this playlist just about Dark Dimension. But I think you have most of the material here on this safe to build list that'll get you into Dark Dimension and get you through it. If it's not there, then another thing that I say about Marvel Strike Force all the time is the best characters in the game have not been released yet. If you can't make a team of characters on this list to go after Super Skrull, then wait before you go after Super Skrull because you're building things that are not safe to build. That's the whole idea. It's to prevent you from overbuilding things that are not going to be useful in the coming months. Now, Super Skrull himself is going to be insanely useful until the end of the game. So build him, take him to level 100, level 200, level 300, all the tiers, all the isotope aid, all the stars, all the dark diamonds, everything you got, throw it at Super Skrull. He's usually best as a raider. All right, next up you have Dormammu now. He's on the list because of the new mythic legendary tag that's coming. And he is going to be someone that you might be taking into Dark Dimension 7. It seems like you'll either be taking him or Doctor Doom. Maybe a new legendary character, maybe not. We don't really know. I'll pull them off the list if it makes sense. But he's a character that I took to tier 18. He's a character that I would definitely consider taking to level 100. But for right now, it's a good tier 18 character. He will help you with Dark Dimension 6. I do not care if he's expensive. He is good. You shouldn't care about if a character is expensive. That should not be your only reason to take or not take a character into Dark Dimension. There is also utility there. He's good as a striker all day. I don't think anybody uses him as anything else. Next up, we have Dazzler, and yes, I believe Dazzler is going to hold her value in that new X-Treme X-Men hybrid Cosmic Crucible team. I would still recommend Dazzler on that team, and for that reason, I would consider building her up to level 95. That's probably all you need. You probably don't need a tier 18 on her. Did I say you should build her to level 100? No, I didn't put... no, I did. I actually said you should build her to level 100. Well, yeah, I'm right. Build her to level 100 because it's Cosmic Crucible, and you're going to need to keep up with the size of all the other teams in Cosmic Crucible. So yeah, maybe put tier 18 on her. Maybe put tier 19 on her. I like her as a skirmisher all day. And yes, she might actually be a candidate for diamonds. Dazzler, believe it or not, is one of the stronger characters in her game. Her ultimate, the Showstopper, is incredibly powerful and good. I've been forgetting to tell you where to unlock people, even though this is the unlock guide. She's available on Heroes Hard Node 6-9. She's also available in the War Supplies, but you won't get her out of there. You guys know that Dormammu is available from Dark Dimension, so I didn't need to tell you about that. You know about Super Skrull, and you know that Dr. Doom is also available from Dark Dimension as well. He comes out of Dark Dimension 4. I hope I got that right. I actually have him as a skirmisher right now, of all things. I know, it's weird. I just don't want him as a striker. I want someone else to take advantage of the double taps. I had him as a striker for the longest time, but now he's a skirmisher. He really might not even belong on this list. I'm not going to take him to tier 18. I know a lot of people that did, and he will also have that mythic legendary tag, so you might end up taking him into Dark Dimension 6. That is it, everybody. That is the Safe to Build guide. That's every character that is safe to build currently in Marvel Strike Force. Make sure you leave some comments down below. Share this with as many people as possible. I love seeing big numbers on this video. I'm glad that it helps out so many people in the community. The link to this infographic is down below. There's lots of other great videos on this channel and right here in this playlist. Make sure you check them out. And grave diggers, keep digging.
Alright, like, subscribe, and watch another video, or be cursed. And if you're cursed, that means the grave diggers will keep digging your graves. So you probably want to.
I fall down on my knees in praise of the horrible things that took her away.